The colony on planet Hope lived up to its name. Clear skies stretched over fields of golden wheat, while children played in the streets of the small but growing settlement. The planet had been humanity's most successful colony in the past decade, a shining example of peaceful expansion into the stars. Governor Thomas watched his daughter Emma playing in the community garden from his office window. At 8 years old, she had never known Earth, but she carried humanity's spark in her bright eyes and endless curiosity. She was helping the colony's botanist plant new flowers, her small hands carefully placing seeds in the rich soil. "Another beautiful day," his assistant Mark said, entering the office with the daily reports. "The Dominion ships were spotted at the edge of our system again." Thomas nodded, his face growing serious. The Dominion, a federation of alien races that controlled most of the galaxy, had been making more frequent patrols near Hope. They viewed humans as newcomers, barely worth their attention. Primitive apes who had stumbled onto faster-than-light travel. "They'll pass by, like always," Thomas said, trying to sound confident. "They have no reason to bother us." He was wrong. The attack came during dinner time. The first explosion rocked the colony's main square, sending people running for shelter. Thomas rushed from his home, calling Emma's name. She had been at her friend's house, just 2 blocks away. Red beams of energy sliced through buildings. Dominion troops, tall figures in gleaming armor, marched through the streets. Their weapons fired with precision, but they weren't aiming at people. They were destroying infrastructure, water tanks, power stations, communication arrays. "This is a warning," a voice boomed in broken English through their ship speakers. "This sector belongs to the Dominion. Your presence is not welcome." Thomas ran faster, his heart pounding. He saw Emma's friend's house ahead. The door was open, and he could hear screaming inside. The next few minutes would replay in his nightmares forever. Emma, brave little Emma, was helping her friend's younger brother hide under a table. She looked up as Thomas entered, a smile of relief crossing her face. "Dad," she started to say. The ceiling exploded. A stray shot from one of the Dominion ships had hit the building's support beam. Thomas dove forward, but he was too late. The world collapsed in dust and debris. Hours later, as rescue teams dug through the rubble, Thomas held his daughter's lifeless body. His wife Mary couldn't stop crying. Around them, the colony's medical teams treated the injured, while others began repairs on the damaged buildings. The Dominion ships had left as quickly as they came. When the colony's leaders sent messages demanding justice, the response was cold and brief. "Collateral damage during a standard territorial enforcement operation. No compensation will be provided to unauthorized settlers." That night, as Hope's 3 moons rose over the devastated colony, something changed. Not just in Thomas and Mary's hearts, but in the very spirit of the settlement. Messages were sent to Earth, carrying news of Emma's death and the Dominion's response. Deep beneath Earth's oceans, in facilities hidden from even most of humanity, ancient computers processed these messages. They compared the incident against preset parameters, analyzing threat levels and response protocols. After centuries of waiting, they found a match. A single death, the death of a child, had set something in motion. In the darkness of Earth's deepest trenches, lights began to flicker on. Massive doors, sealed for hundreds of years, started to open. The Dominion had made a terrible mistake. They thought they were dealing with a young, weak species that would bow to their show of force. They didn't know that humanity had been preparing for this moment for centuries. They didn't know about the fleet that slept beneath Earth's waters, or the fury it carried. They would learn soon enough. Emma's death would not go unanswered, and the galaxy was about to discover why humans had appeared so peaceful for so long. They had been waiting for a reason to wake up. 3 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean, ancient machinery hummed to life. Lights flickered on in corridors that hadn't seen movement in centuries. In a massive chamber, a cryopod's frost slowly melted away, revealing the face of Admiral James Stone. His eyes opened for the first time in 200 years. The pod's systems had kept him perfectly preserved, waiting for this moment. As he stepped out, his muscles remembering their strength thanks to the pod's neural stimulation, a computer voice spoke. "Welcome back, Admiral Stone. Protocol Guardian has been activated. Cause: civilian child casualty in colony zone. Status: fleet awakening in progress." Stone's mind cleared quickly. They had planned for this. He and the other leaders of Old Earth. They knew humanity would face threats in the stars, but they had also known that appearing weak was the best way to survive long enough to understand their enemies. "Show me the incident report," he ordered, his voice rough from centuries of silence. The screens came alive, showing him Emma's death, the Dominion's attack, and their dismissive response. Stone's jaw tightened. This was exactly the type of event they had waited for. Clear aggression against the innocent, coupled with a complete lack of justice. "Begin full revival sequence," he commanded. "Wake the fleet." Deep under every ocean on Earth, massive hangar doors began to open. Seawater rushed aside as giant shapes rose from their long slumber. Ships unlike anything the modern galaxy had seen. Vessels that combined centuries of hidden human innovation with technology recovered from Earth's ancient past. In the Atlantic, a carrier-class vessel larger than a small city broke the surface, water cascading from its pristine hull. The Pacific birthed a fleet of destroyers, their sleek forms defying current understanding of space combat capabilities. The Indian Ocean revealed specialized attack craft, designed to bypass any known defense systems. At military bases around the world, shocked officers received coded messages they had trained for, but never expected to use. Modern humanity had kept these protocols alive through generations, all while pretending to be a young, relatively primitive species. Stone walked through the underwater base as it came alive around him. Crews emerged from their cryo sleep, each chosen centuries ago for their skills and dedication. Engineers, tactical officers, and soldiers, all preserved to serve in humanity's darkest hour. Admiral, his second-in-command, Captain Lisa Reed, approached after her revival. "The Artemis battle group is ready. All ships report full functionality. And the weapons systems. Everything we developed before the sleep remains operational. The Dominion's current shield technology won't stand a chance." Stone nodded, studying the tactical displays. The Dominion had spread itself thin across the galaxy, never expecting a threat from the supposedly primitive humans. They had no idea that Earth's apparent technological progress had been carefully staged, hiding their true capabilities. "Send word to the current Earth government," Stone ordered. "Tell them Operation Guardian is active. They know what to do next." Above the waves, the world watched in awe as hundreds of ships rose from the oceans. Ships that rewrote everything the galaxy thought it knew about human military power. Modern humans had known they were there, hidden beneath the waves, but seeing them in person still took their breath away. In orbit, Dominion observation posts finally noticed the massive energy signatures. Their confused reports would take hours to reach their leadership, and by then, it would be too late. "Take us up," Stone commanded, standing on the bridge of the flagship Fury. The vessel rose smoothly, water sheeting from its hull. Around it, the rest of the fleet moved in perfect formation. Hundreds of ships, tens of thousands of crew members, all awakening from their long wait. The stars waited above them. Somewhere up there, the Dominion continued its business, unaware that their casual cruelty toward a child had finally awakened the giant they never knew existed. "Plot accords to Hope Colony," Stone said. "It's time to show the galaxy why we stayed hidden for so long." The fleet rose into the night sky, leaving behind the oceans that had kept their secret for centuries. Humanity's time of hiding was over. The real war was about to begin. Admiral Stone stood before the United Earth Council, his ancient uniform a stark contrast to their modern clothes. The chamber was silent as he activated the holographic display, showing images from humanity's hidden past. 200 years ago, he began, we made a choice, our first deep space probes discovered something troubling. The galaxy was full of empires that destroyed any civilization they saw as a threat. The images showed alien warships destroying worlds, entire species being wiped out for developing too quickly. The council members watched with wide eyes as humanity's true history unfolded before them. "We found ruins," Stone continued, "left by races that were eliminated for showing too much potential. The Dominion wasn't always the strongest. They simply outlasted everyone else by destroying any competition early." New images appeared. Earth's scientists secretly studying advanced technology, building innovations that would have marked them for destruction if discovered. "So we hid everything," Stone explained. "We built this fleet in secret, using technology far beyond what we showed the galaxy. Every ship that rose from Earth's oceans yesterday carries weapons that could tear apart a Dominion battleship like paper." One council member, an older woman named Rita, stood up. "But the colony ships we sent out, the settlements like Hope, they're truly defenseless. We put our own people at risk." Stone's face showed pain at her words. "We had to make it real. The Dominion needed to believe we were simply another young, struggling species. Our colonists are brave people who agreed to live with older technology, to maintain our cover. But now, after what happened to Emma," his voice hardened, "now it's time to show our true strength." The chamber's main screen lit up with urgent messages. Dominion ships across the galaxy were reporting massive energy signatures coming from Earth. Their sensors, finally detecting the power of the awakened fleet, were sending confused readings back to their command. "Look at their reaction." Stone pointed to the incoming data. "They're panicking. They've never seen anything like our ships. The technology we developed in secret, it's centuries ahead of their current level." He brought up another display, showing the fleet's current position near Mars. The ships hung in space like silent predators, their dark hulls absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Even now, they were hard to see on normal sensors. "For 2 centuries, we let them think we were struggling with basic spaceflight. We celebrated small achievements that we'd actually passed long ago. We acted grateful for their advanced technology, while hiding innovations that would make their best ships look primitive." The council chamber filled with murmurs as more reports came in. The Dominion was calling an emergency session, trying to understand how they had missed such a massive military force. "But why wait?" another council member asked. "Why not show our strength before?" Stone's expression grew solemn. "Because we needed the right moment. A clear act of cruelty that would justify our response. The death of an innocent child, dismissed as collateral damage. It's exactly what we waited for. The galaxy will understand our reaction. Other races will remember their own losses to Dominion aggression." He turned to face the full council. "We're not just seeking revenge for Emma. We're going to reshape the galaxy. The Dominion will learn that their time of unchecked power is over." Outside the chamber, Earth's citizens watched their skies with new eyes. The ships that had hidden beneath their oceans were now visible in orbit, their massive forms blocking out the stars. Centuries of secrecy were over. In deep space, Dominion analysts finally processed the full sensor data from Earth. For the first time in their long history of conquest, the mighty Dominion felt something they had never expected to feel while dealing with humans. The Dominion's largest military base in the Hope sector never saw the attack coming. One moment, their sensors showed empty space. The next, 50 Earth ships appeared inside their defensive line, their dark hulls seeming to drink in the starlight. "Maximum impact, minimum casualties," Admiral Stone's orders echoed through the human fleet. "Show them our power. But remember, we're here for justice, not revenge." The Fury, Stone's flagship, moved forward first. Its main weapon, hidden beneath layers of advanced stealth technology, powered up silently. The Dominion base's shields glowed as they detected the energy buildup, but it was too late. A beam of pure white light shot from the Fury. Where it touched the base's shields, they simply disappeared. Not broken, not overwhelmed, just gone. as if they had never existed. The Dominion commanders watched in horror as their most advanced defense system vanished like morning mist. Impossible, the base commander shouted, his alien features twisted in confusion. Their technology is primitive. They barely understand basic shield systems. The rest of the Earth fleet moved in perfect formation. Smaller ships darted between the massive Dominion defense platforms, shutting them down with precise energy pulses. The platforms went dark one by one, their crews untouched but their weapons disabled. Stone's voice boomed across all communication channels. "This is Admiral James Stone of the Earth Fleet. You have 1 hour to evacuate all military personnel. Civilian workers may remain. They will not be harmed." The Dominion commanders scrambled to understand what was happening. Their weapons, the most powerful in known space, couldn't lock onto the Earth ships. Their sensors couldn't track them. It was as if they were fighting ghosts. "Sir," Captain Reed reported to Stone, "the Dominion is trying to call for reinforcements." "Let them," Stone replied calmly. "It's time they saw what they're really dealing with." 3 Dominion battleships emerged from hyperspace, responding to the base's distress call. They were the pride of the Dominion fleet, each one capable of destroying an entire planetary defense system. The Earth ships didn't even break formation. A single shot from one of the smaller human vessels passed straight through the lead battleship's shields. The massive ship's engines died instantly, leaving it floating helpless in space. The other 2 battleships opened fire, their energy weapons filling space with deadly light. But none of their shots hit. The Earth fleet's hulls seemed to bend the energy weapons around them, like water flowing around rocks in a stream. "Target their engines only," Stone ordered. "Let them live to tell others what they saw here today." Within minutes, all 3 Dominion battleships floated powerless in space. Their crews stared through viewports at the Earth vessels, finally understanding what humanity had hidden all these years. As the hour deadline approached, evacuation ships streamed from the base. The Dominion soldiers, trained to fear nothing, couldn't leave fast enough. They had never seen technology like this, never faced an enemy they couldn't even touch. Stone watched from his command chair as the last evacuation ship cleared the base. "Send the message," he ordered. Every screen and communication device in the sector activated at once. The image of Emma, the young girl killed on Hope, appeared alongside pictures of other innocent victims of Dominion aggression over the centuries. "This is humanity's response to your cruelty," Stone's voice declared. "For too long, you've dismissed us as primitive, weak, beneath your notice. That ends today. For every innocent life you've taken, we will dismantle your empire piece by piece." The Earth fleet's weapons fired in unison. The abandoned base, worth more than 1,000 worlds in resources and technology, vanished in a flash of light that could be seen across the sector. As the light faded, the Dominion survivors realized a terrifying truth. Humanity hadn't been struggling to catch up to their level of technology. They had been waiting, watching, and preparing to surpass it completely. The Dominion High Council chamber erupted in chaos. Holographic displays showed more Earth ships appearing across the galaxy, systematically dismantling military installations with surgical precision. The council members, representing the 12 most powerful species in the Dominion, argued furiously among themselves. "How did we not see this coming?" roared Council Leader Grin, his scaled fist slamming onto the table. "Our observers watched Earth for decades." "They fooled us all," answered Council Member Vix, her crystalline form shimmering with agitation. "While we watched their primitive colony ships, their real fleet waited beneath their oceans." Emergency reports kept flooding in. 3 more Dominion bases had gone dark in the past hour. No casualties, but billions in military assets simply vanished. Earth's fleet moved like a ghost through their defenses, untouchable and unstoppable. "Call our allies," Grin ordered. "Remind them of their obligations to the Dominion. We still outnumber the humans 100 to 1. But the response from their allies wasn't what they expected. The Mercian Empire, one of their oldest supporters, sent a simple message. We remember our own losses to your territorial enforcement. We will not help you fight the humans. More messages followed. Race after race, system after system, all refusing to stand with the Dominion. Many had lost children of their own to Dominion aggression over the centuries. The story of Emma, broadcast across the galaxy by Earth's fleet, had awakened old wounds. In the Furies Command Center, Admiral Stone watched the diplomatic chaos unfold. "Show me the Dominion fleet movements," he ordered. The tactical display revealed Dominion ships scrambling in confusion. Some fled from Earth vessels. Others tried to form defensive lines that the human ships simply passed through as if they weren't there. "Sir," Captain Reed reported, "we're receiving messages from 17 different species. They're offering support against the Dominion." Stone smiled grimly. "Tell them we appreciate their offer, but this is humanity's fight. We just ask them to remember what they see here." The Dominion's response grew more desperate by the hour. They tried new weapons, experimental shields, even ancient forbidden technology. Nothing worked against the Earth ships. Centuries of hidden human innovation had produced defenses that made their attacks meaningless. On the Dominion throne world, riots broke out as the truth spread. The public learned how their leaders had dismissed warnings about Earth, how they had carelessly authorized the attack that killed Emma, how their arrogance had awakened a sleeping giant. "We should negotiate," Council member Vix suggested, watching another military base fall to the humans. "Offer them anything they want." "Negotiate." Grin laughed bitterly. "Look at your screens. They don't want our territories or our resources. They want justice, and they're strong enough to take it." In the Hope colony, Thomas and Mary watched the news with tears in their eyes. The galaxy's most powerful empire was falling apart, all because they had killed one human child and refused to acknowledge their crime. The Dominion's oldest colony just declared independence. Reed updated Stone. "Their governors say they won't support an empire that murders children." Stone nodded, remembering the centuries of preparation that had led to this moment. Humanity had hidden its strength, waiting for the right time to act. They had known that raw power wasn't enough. They needed the galaxy to understand why they fought. "Send word to all Earth ships," Stone commanded. "Phase 1 is complete. Begin moving toward the Dominion capital systems. Let's see if their leaders are ready to face justice for their actions." The Earth fleet moved through space like avenging angels, their dark hulls reflecting no light. They carried with them not just advanced weapons, but the weight of moral authority. The galaxy watched, and for the first time in centuries, hoped for a better future. The Dominion capital world hung in space like a jewel, its 3 suns casting multiple shadows across its crystalline buildings. Around it, the remnants of the once mighty Dominion fleet formed a final defensive line. Behind them, Earth's ships waited in perfect formation, their dark hulls blocking out the starlight. Admiral Stone stood on the Furies Bridge, watching the tactical display. Next to him stood Thomas and Mary, Emma's parents, brought from Hope Colony to witness this moment. Mary held a small teddy bear, Emma's favorite toy, recovered from the rubble of their home. "This is your last chance," Stone's voice boomed across all channels. "Surrender your leadership and face justice, or we will take them by force." On the capital world, panic spread through the Dominion High Council. Their mighty empire had crumbled in just weeks. Every defense, every weapon, every strategy had failed against Earth's hidden fleet. "We cannot surrender to primitives," Council leader Grin shouted, but his voice shook with fear. Around him, other council members were already trying to flee the chamber. "Sir," Captain Reed reported to Stone, "we're detecting ships trying to escape through the back of the system. Small vessels, probably carrying council members." Stone's expression hardened. "Activate the containment field." A wave of energy spread from the Earth fleet, surrounding the entire star system. The escaped ships hit it like birds striking glass, their engines dying instantly. The Dominion leaders watched in horror as their last hope of escape vanished. "That's impossible," a Dominion technician whispered. They've contained an entire star system. Thomas stepped forward on the Fury's bridge. "May I speak to them?" he asked Stone. The Admiral nodded, opening a channel. "I am Thomas, Emma's father." His voice carried across space to every ship and building in the system. "My daughter died because you thought humans were weak, because you thought we didn't matter. Look around you now. Look at what your arrogance has brought." The main Dominion defense fleet started powering down their weapons. One by one, their ships went dark. They had finally understood the futility of resistance. "We didn't want this war," Thomas continued, his voice breaking slightly. "We hid our strength because we wanted peace. All you had to do was show basic decency. All you had to do was care when you killed an innocent child." Mary stepped forward too, holding Emma's teddy bear. "My daughter loved stories about aliens. She dreamed of meeting new species, making friends across the galaxy. Instead, you killed her and called it collateral damage." The Earth fleet moved forward as one. Their advanced weapons disabled the remaining Dominion ships without destroying them. On the capital world, the Council Chamber's defenses failed, shut down by technology they couldn't even understand. "Take them," Stone ordered. Special Forces ships launched from the Earth fleet, their crews trained for centuries for this moment. They moved through the Dominion's finest defenses like ghosts, capturing Council members one by one. In the Council Chamber, Grin watched as human soldiers appeared through walls that were supposed to be impenetrable. "We had no choice," he tried to argue as they approached. "We had to maintain order." "There's always a choice," Thomas said, having transported down with Stone. "You chose power over justice, control over compassion. And now you'll face the consequences." Within an hour, the entire Dominion leadership was in custody. Earth's fleet had accomplished in weeks what other species had thought impossible for centuries. But there was no celebration, no triumph in their victory. As the arrested council members were led away, Mary placed Emma's teddy bear on the council leader's empty throne. In the end, it wasn't humanity's advanced ships or powerful weapons that had brought down an empire. It was the simple truth that every life matters, even the life of one human child on a distant colony. 1 year after the fall of the Dominion, the Hope colony had changed. Where destruction once scared the streets, new buildings rose toward the sky. In the center of the main square stood a memorial, a simple statue of a young girl planting flowers, with Emma's teddy bear preserved in a clear case at its base. Admiral Stone walked through the square, his ancient uniform now bearing new medals. Around him, aliens from dozens of species mixed freely with human colonists. The galaxy had changed too, in ways few could have imagined. The last Dominion war crimes trial ended today, Captain Reed reported, joining him at the memorial. Their leaders will spend the rest of their lives helping rebuild the worlds they once terrorized. Stone nodded, watching children from 3 different species playing together near the statue. "And the fleet?" "Most of the ships have returned to their ocean bases," Reed answered, "just as we planned centuries ago. We'll sleep again, waiting and watching, in case we're ever needed." The galaxy had learned many lessons from these events. The most powerful was that strength didn't have to mean cruelty. Earth's fleet had won their war without a single civilian casualty. They had proved that true power came with responsibility. In the colony's government building, Thomas and Mary hosted representatives from across the galaxy. The Hope colony had become a symbol, a place where the death of one child had sparked changes that made the universe better for all children. The new Galactic Council is ready to begin its first session, Thomas told Stone as the Admiral entered the building. "They want you to speak." Stone straightened his uniform and walked into the council chamber. Unlike the old Dominion Council, this one had seats for every species, large or small. Power was balanced, controlled by laws and compassion rather than force. "A year ago," Stone began, addressing the assembled representatives, "we revealed our true strength to the galaxy. Some feared we would become the new Dominion, ruling through force and fear. Instead, we showed a different way. Screens around the chamber showed Earth's fleet helping former Dominion worlds rebuild, protecting trading lanes, and keeping peace across the stars. The ships that had been built for war now served as guardians of a better future. We hid our power for centuries, Stone continued, not because we were afraid, but because we wanted to understand. We watched the Dominion's cruelty, learned from their mistakes, and prepared to create something better when the time came. In orbit above Hope, a single Earth ship remained on constant watch. Not as a threat, but as a promise, a reminder that humanity would never again allow the strong to abuse the weak. The memorial in the square had become a pilgrimage site. Species from across the galaxy came to leave flowers and small gifts. They came to remember how the death of one human child had finally broken the cycle of violence and fear that had ruled the stars for too long. The fleet will sleep again, Stone told the council, but we will not hide anymore. Earth's strength will remain a shield for all who need protection, a force for justice rather than conquest. As the sun set on Hope Colony, Mary placed fresh flowers at Emma's memorial. The teddy bear in its case seemed to glow in the evening light, a simple toy that had become a symbol of change. Thomas joined her, holding her hand as they read the memorial's inscription. Emma, one small light that changed the galaxy. Below it, in the languages of 100 worlds, was written, Never again. In the deepest oceans of Earth, the great ships settled back into their hidden bases. They would sleep again, their crews returning to cryostasis, but the galaxy would remember. They had learned that true strength lay not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to know when to act and the compassion to know why. Emma's story had become legend, taught in schools across the galaxy, not just as a tale of humanity's hidden power, but as a lesson about justice, patience, and the truth that every life, no matter how small, could change the universe.